If you're new to programmatic digital out of home, welcome. We know how hard it can be to really understand how you fit into the whole ecosystem. So today we're covering the fundamentals and we're going over some of the key players in a programmatic transaction. You may have seen this diagram before. It's the whole programmatic ecosystem for display advertising. I did say whole, but in reality there could be hundreds of more companies involved in this type of transaction, but for clarity's sake, they've just highlighted a few of the key players. It shows all the different types of companies and technologies that are involved in programmatic transactions, and as you can see, there's quite a few. And what's really exciting is this is just the display advertising portion of the whole programmatic ecosystem. In reality, there's a whole ecosystem for social, mobile, and of course, digital out of home. So at the end of the day, you can really imagine how big the programmatic ecosystem really is. Now, to clarify things a little bit, we're going to cut it down to some basics. And we've highlighted the 5 main players that participate in almost every type of programmatic transaction. This will be the same whether you're in display advertising or digital out of home like we are. First off, we have brands. These are companies that you're familiar with, and it's basically anybody who has a product or service to sell. They're the ones who kind of trigger the entire campaign because they have a marketing goal to meet. These goals can either be brand awareness, increasing sales, or foot traffic to their stores. At the end of the day, the campaign is set to help them reach their business goals. Next, we have agencies, and these are marketing and media buying professionals that take the campaign goals that were established by the brand and turn them into strategic campaigns. They'll do the planning and the execution of all the media buying and sometimes even take care of the creative content. I will mention that for smaller brands, this is sometimes done in-house via their marketing team, but often they will have a specific media buyer involved. Next up, we have the DSP, which is the demand-side platform. This is the first piece of technology we're chatting about today and is an important piece of a programmatic transaction. It's essentially a catalog of all the inventory available, as well as a booking system where buyers can input the variables for their campaign. They could set their budget, their desired CPM, as well as what type of inventory or audience they're looking for. What's great about DSPs is it allows campaigns to be really self-serve, and they could be set up and change very quickly depending on business goals. Now we have the SSP, the supply side platform, which is the other piece of technology that's very important in a programmatic transaction. It's where inventory details and availability is stored and kept up to date. Publishers can also use this platform to set their own campaign parameters, so something like floor price, or if they have any restrictions on the brands that they're able to work with. An example of a digital out of home SSP is of course our very own Broadsign Reach. This is where all our publisher partners' inventory details are stored and kept up to date. In particular, they're connected directly to the CMS, which makes sure that real-time information is being sent to the buyers so they know exactly which inventory is available and what they can buy. The magic of programmatic really happens between the DSP and the SSP. These two pieces of technology talk together and determine what campaign should run at a given time. There isn't too much that can be done programmatically that couldn't have been done in a direct buy, but sometimes it could have taken hundreds, if not thousands of man-hours to figure something out. Think of a national campaign that runs on multiple publishers that only wants to run at certain times of day on certain types of screens. It would have a ton of manual labor required to make this run in real time, but with programmatic, it only takes a few milliseconds. And last, but certainly not least, we have you, the publishers. Your inventory is of course a very important part of the programmatic transaction because without it, there would be no transaction at all. As we mentioned before, the connection between the CMS and the SSP is done in real time, and this connection goes both ways. So while I could check what inventory is available, there's also the connection that sends back campaigns that have been decided between the DSP and the SSP. It'll be directly scheduled onto your network and ready to play at the given time. So while one of the big benefits of programmatic digital out of home is that transactions, and especially complicated transactions, can occur in a matter of seconds, and it just causes much more flexibility for everyone involved, there's also the added benefit that it places digital out of home on the same plane as other digital channels. So here I'm actually showing you the programmatic display Lumascape that we had earlier, along with the digital out of home Lumascape. Do you notice there's a few companies that appear in both? As programmatic evolves in digital out of home, we think these commonalities will be even greater. One of the most exciting bits about the programmatic ecosystem for digital out of home is that section for omnichannel DSPs. This is where buyers could log in and see your inventory right beside other digital channels like online and mobile. This will really open up some doors for new budgets and put you on campaigns that you might have not been involved in the past. Of course, the programmatic ecosystem is ever changing and expanding, so this is just a brief overview of the current state of things. We are excited to see where programmatic digital out-of-home will take us and what the future has in store.